Today's Cowboys Report made possible by Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on all the great Manscaped products when you use promo code COWBOYS at checkout. That link will be in the comments section and in the description. So go check it out, manscaped.com. Don't forget to use that promo code COWBOYS checkout or you won't end up saving some money. Now, today's video is a look at the top players to watch during training camp, a training camp watch list, if you will. First up, Amari Cooper. Namely, is he there for the start of it? It seems like the timeline's going to be tight. As a gambling man myself, I say I don't think he's out there on day one of Cowboys camp, still recovering from an apparent setback from his ankle injury. Now, again, this is not worth panicking over, at least not yet. The Cowboys have great depth at wide receiver. Cooper, Gallup, Lanning, even Wilson, Brown, and I'm kind of hyped about Simi Fehoko as well, at least long term. Now, if we get to, if we're hanging out there at some point early August 5, 10, around the Hall of Fame game, that probably is a good benchmark. If Cooper's not practicing then, I'm going to be a bit concerned because that reduces the time for him to get fully into game shape for week 1 of the season. So what do you think? Will Amari Cooper be ready for day 1 of training camp? Type in Y for yes or type in N for no. Get your votes in for me in the comments section right now. Let's go to defense now. The first round pick. He's going to be on here, right? Micah Parsons. Now, he's gotten work at both the more typical middle linebacker spot and also the more strong side linebacker, almost as an hybrid edge rusher to some extent there. I am pumped to see how the Cowboys utilize him this year. And I make no mistake, even though I didn't love the pick, I was glad they moved down and there weren't that many good defensive guys on the board. But the Cowboys need an impact from their first round pick. I've got coverage concerns there, but if they use him correctly, as many of you have mentioned on the show previously, I think a Devin White impact is possible as a blitzer and as a run stopper. And the Bucs really do hide Devin White in coverage pretty well. But you got to use him correctly, right? So I think Parsons, what role he has, really the entire linebacker roster battle is absolutely worth watching at camp. Now, I got a bunch of names on here, but there is literally no wrong answer for this question. Who your number one player to watch at training camp is. Any player could be on this list. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments section. Let's go to Zeke Elliott now, as the Ezekiel Elliott Redemption Tour will be televised since we're on Hard Knocks this year. Everyone, media, coaches, players, his, of course, trainers and whatnot, have hyped him up this offseason. Now, what the Cowboys and every single person watching, me included, need is a better version of Zeke in 2021. And it appears, at least, that Zeke kind of is in best shape of life. Once the shirt comes off, that's when we stop memeing about best shape of life season and go, okay, maybe Zeke actually is in really fantastic shape. What I need out of Elliott on the field is to be more of a home run threat. He hasn't been that really the past 2 years. The average dipped significantly, but part of that was because of the banged-up offensive line. What I want out of it, and I've said this for well over a year now, I want him to be your closer. Now, your defense might not be ideal enough to make him into an elite closer, but maybe he can be the whole 2-inning closer. When the Cowboys have a lead in the fourth quarter, that's when I want Zeke to thrive. Now, he'll get the ball plenty, of course, elsewhere and earlier on in games, but as a closer, that's where I think Zeke can be at his most efficient and impactful. Let's go to offense again now. Tyler Biadasz. And look, I brought this up before. This is the Cowboys' only real option at center right now. That's the only option right there. The Cowboys brought in nobody. And Biadasz last year wasn't elite, but he was solid. I thought that he was a low-end starting caliber center, which is good for a fourth-round rookie. That's a pretty good bar to set as your baseline going forward. But I do think this camp is important, to get Biadasz up to speed, get him an actual camp, he didn't have one last year, and get him more reps with Dak Prescott. Remember, when Biadasz took over, Dak was the quarterback for not much longer, and then Biadasz himself got hurt, and then for some reason never got the job back, which I did not like. But Biadasz is the center now. The depth at center is non-existent. Matt Farniok, Connor McGovern, come on. That's not competition. So for the Cowboys, I'm hoping Biadasz truly earns that job, even if it's already been given to him. Today's video is powered by Manscaped, just like my junk is. 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code Cowboys. You can get the perfect package. Comes with not just the Lawnmower 3.0, but also the boxers I'm wearing right now. I'm not going to show you because that's kind of weird, but trust me, they are incredibly comfortable. You're not going to find a better pair. They are by far my number one boxers. And my wife likes them too. Helps show off the stuff downstairs a little bit nicely. Manscaped.com. Don't forget to use that promo code Cowboys at checkout to save 20% and free shipping. Kelvin Joseph next up here. It is a pivotal offseason for the Dallas Cowboys second-round pick. And now I know that's a bit extreme to say, but for camp purposes, this matters a lot for Joseph. He didn't draw great reviews from the media at OTAs and minicamp, missed some time, so he's playing catch-up. Now, it's not like, we're at the finish line already. We're barely started, but this is a critical training camp for Kelvin Joseph. I want him to earn the starting role sooner than later over Anthony Brown. But to do that, he has to impress at camp and in the preseason. He's going to get the reps. He's going to get the opportunities. This is when Joseph, who is admittedly raw, and I think will take some time to develop fully, has his best chance to make a big-time impact. So how many games do you think Kelvin Joseph will end up starting this season? Get your votes in and your predictions, I should say, really, in the comments section right now. Now, we've talked a lot about Randy Gregory. I am all aboard the hype train for him this year. For the first time in basically ever, Randy Gregory gets a normal offseason. He gets to be around the facilities. He gets to be in camp and in OTAs and minicamp. I think this offseason is going to pay massively for Randy Gregory. And Randy agrees, by the way, folks. Quote, "It's a big deal." I think the last time I had an actual training camp where I was involved, or minicamp or OTAs or anything like that, was rookie year. It's really refreshing. It's fun to be around the guys this early and feels good to be out there. I'm completely on board. I am more than most players than I normally do. I have consumed the Randy Gregory Kool-Aid. I'm drinking it. I think this is going to be a double his sack production season. And if you're getting 7 sacks out of your number 2 edge rusher, who also gives you some, he's not the only guy who's going to play because, Terrell Basham will play, Chauncey Golston will play, probably one of Dorrance Armstrong or Bradley and I will also play. If you get 7 sacks out of Randy, or even 8 or more or whatever, I think that's a good year. Of course, it assumes Tank Lawrence will have better sack production, but I think that's going to happen as well. So I want you guys to predict for me. How many sacks for Randy Gregory this season? I'll set the over-under at 7.5. I think that's pretty fair. Make your predictions for me right now in the comments section. Next up is Donovan Wilson, and my plan is to watch Donovan Wilson for a week and go, okay, we're good. Now, Wilson missed time at OTAs and minicamp with what was called a minor knee injury. Was also reported, by the way, that he wasn't around that much in the offseason. That does set off some alarm bells in my head of like, okay, got to watch this guy. Now, I'm not worried about Wilson yet, but I think it's important to at least mention this because the Cowboys need him. If Donovan Wilson isn't the guy we saw last year, I've got concerns because this team, this rotation, this depth chart at defensive back, it ain't great. Like if Wilson can't go, that means you're starting Jerron Kearse, DeMonte Casey, Darian Thompson. Like that's not good. That's a disaster. So I need Wilson on this team. I absolutely do. And I need him to be impactful because it seemed like last year, every chance that every opportunity, every moment that the Cowboys got a big play, it seemed like it was Donovan Wilson, right? 3 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles. He had a breakout year last season, at least down the stretch, and could even argue would have a breakout year again this year. So speaking of that, get your votes in for me. Name a player who will break out this season. Get your votes and your predictions, your wishes even, in the comments section. All right, Blake Jarwin is next up here, and I want to see if he's back and healthy. Breakout year was supposed to come last year, speaking of breakout players. but he's still working his way back from his injury. And oh, by the way, Dalton Schultz is lurking if Jarwin does miss some time. And I think Jarwin, and this is a bit of an unexpected development, Jarwin's got to go earn that job now. Like, Schultz was so good, you can start him if you need to. So it's not going to be given to Jarwin like the job was last year. So we'll see what happens there for Schultz. All right, Trysten Hill is next up here. Now, he flashed last year. He was a better player, but he's also coming off the torn ACL. He is now on his third defensive coordinator and defensive line coach in as many seasons. His sponsor, his support from the organization isn't really there anymore. So Hill's coming off injury and fighting for a role and a roster spot. If he's not back to 100%, between Osa Odighizuwa, Bohanna, Carlos Watkins, there might not be room for Trysten Hill. Now again, better last season. No doubt about that one. He was a better player than he was in his first year. Of course, there wasn't that much room to go up. Now, we've mentioned the depth chart many a time here on the Cowboys Report. And, oh, look, don't pay much attention to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. The actual snap order is completely undetermined. But Gallimore, Hill, Odighizuwa, probably more your 3 techniques. Urban, Bohanna, Watkins, probably more of your run stoppers, at least for this particular Cowboys team. Now, a question for you guys. Name a starter or starter who you think is starting but should not start, or vice versa, that you're most concerned about. What player do you go, oh, God, I hope it's okay. I hope everything goes according to plan. Get your votes in for me in the comments. And finally, Dak Prescott. Duh, right? You thought I was going to leave him off here. Come on. Dak is back. He's healthy. I think he's going to be a full go in camp. Maybe they don't let him get hit, but then again, they don't want the quarterbacks to get hit anyway. The expectations for Dak Prescott have been raised. The second you get paid by an NFL team, you have to be awesome. And Dak's been mostly awesome over his NFL career. Now, there have been some down moments. Totally fair there. But Dak was the main reason why the Cowboys were finding ways to compete against playoff teams, by the way, last season that they had no business competing in. They should have been blown out last year, but they clawed their way back into games that most teams would go into garbage time. But that was not the case against the Falcons, against the Browns, against the Seahawks. So I believe in Dak Prescott. I can't wait to see him back out there fully healthy. Plus, by the way, rocking those new Jordans.